I thought, I just left. My husband is a soldier. He's out here to defend our country. And my two brothers had been in the military. His uncles had been in World War II and fought for our country. And here he was about to be shipped over. This was to Vietnam. He was one of the first paratroopers with his 175th brigade that went to Vietnam and left me there. And I have to be insulted by a woman educator from East Texas.
Who's also a federal employee.
A federal employment. So it was just that I didn't think that we would encounter this kind of individual, and boldly, brightly said it. Well, I'm not going to tell you what I said. That wouldn't be nice on this camera. It wouldn't be nice for me to repeat what I said. And I thought, surely my husband is not going to get any more promotions. I'm going to be fired. But I never again. I was a lucky one. Yes. So he goes off to Vietnam, and I stay on Okinawa. I complete the school year, and then they say, well, all dependents must leave Okinawa whose husband have been deployed to Vietnam. So I said, no, I'm not going to go back. I don't have a job. I resigned in Caddo Parish in Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm not going back. I says, I think I want to go to Hawaii. I didn't know anybody in Hawaii. I didn't know nothing about Hawaii. I told my husband on this phone, which wasn't a regular phone from Vietnam, I am not, because they called us in and said we had to leave, even though my husband had bought a house on East China Coast, a house for me to first of all get to to Okinawa, because there were no housing available at the time. So he decided he'd buy a house. He did, a beautiful house on East China Sea, which was wonderful. I said, well, I have a house, but if you stay here, you can't keep your privileges at the PX and the commissary, which is the lifeline. So what I simply did, I told my husband, I'm going to go to Hawaii. Didn't know anybody, didn't know nothing. So that's where I went. When I left Okinawa, I went and stayed in Hawaii. Wahiawa, Hawaii. Not far from Schofield, where it was an Army military base. This is what I did. And then he got some kind of R&R leave. He came for a few days in about a year. He came to visit with me, and that was a time when President Lyndon Johnson was going to just land at the airport while he was there, and we stood and waited for that plane to come in. And this was the first president that I had ever seen in my entire life, was President Lyndon Baines Johnson when he landed in Hawaii in 1965. And I'm so grateful. And my husband said that was the first president. And since that time, you can, being in the States, you can see your president. So he's my hero, President Lyndon Johnson.
Well, he also signed those acts, didn't he?
That's the point that I'm making, that the 64 acts, if it hadn't been for President Lyndon Johnson, and actually both parties, they worked better together, even during those challenging times than now. Everything is at gridlock. So I think if that could be accomplished, the 1964 Act, we can do better. I hope somebody is listening. We can do better.
Yeah. Did you ever have any problems, or your parents have any problems with voting when you were in Louisiana? Did your parents vote?
I have in my pocketbook my mother's registration. It's a treasure. I have her old wallet which I gave her, and it's fallen apart. But I have my mother's vote. This was, she said, she voted